Now that we talked, we created a database called FBI Sayed. I am going to double click here. And as you know, the database has two tables, and one is called agents, and one is called America's Most Wanted. And it has one query that is run on America's Most Wanted, and we have form for America's Most Wanted. And but we don't have form for agents. Can we create a form for agents? That way, if we hire a new agent, we can put use the form. Therefore, if I am here and I want to create a form, of course, as soon as I click create form, the form will be created for America's Most Wanted. I don't want that. I want to create for agents. Therefore, I click here and then I click form, and the form for agents are being created. And of course I cannot do anything in here because it is on the design view. And when it is on the design view, I want to go to form view. I click here, form view, and then here it is. I have two agents. If I hire another agent, which I click here, for example, I can put my agent in here. Now I can run a query also on my agents. Look at here. If this is agent, and I want to know which agent is making more than $125. I know that it is Clinton. Or which one of my agents live in state of New York. I can easily create a query. How can I do that? If I come here, I shouldn't be here because I want to create query for this one, but by mistake, imagine I have clicked here and I click create and then query and simple query. Oh, one thing I forgot to do also, I forgot to change these fields names. I am going to click here, I am going to right click, change field name, and I am going to call this one name, or I could call it agent's name, doesn't matter, field 2, and I click OK, and I am going to call this one as salary. And field 3, I'm going to call it state, rename, and here it is. And here is a state. And now I go back and I'm going to go to create. And I create what? Query wizard. And then I click OK. Now, guess what? It wants to create a query for America's Most Wanted. I already have that query. I want a query from my agents. I click here. I have everything in here. I want agent. What do I want? I want the name of the people, my agents, who are in state. State is misspelled here, but that's okay. I click here and I click next and I click finish. And here is the state that, and let me correct this one. And let me see, but this came from the table. I have to go back to my table to correct. Now I want to run a query to find my agents who live in New York. As you all know, I have to go to my home tab. I have to go to design. I have to go to the design view of my query, and I have to type here NY, my agents that are in NY, and I have to run the query. And here is the agent who lives in New York. I can remove my condition, which is New York. I can get rid of it. And therefore, that is the way we are dealing with it. Therefore, I can create a form for my agent. I can create report for my agents. The same thing. And this table, we can have 10, 20 tables. Doesn't matter. Anytime I want to create it, imagine that what else FBI might have. FBI has agents, has America's Most Wanted. Imagine that it has one table also that is, imagine that all the suppliers, FBI buys a lot of stuff. It buys guns, it buys, I don't know, a lot of supplies for everything, tables, desks, computers. Can we create one for the suppliers? No problem. We can create, and we can create table, and we can call it whatever, and then we can put our, to look at here, it's called table 1. Imagine one of the supplier of FBI might be IBM, and sorry, that is suppose it's the supplier, the address of the supplier. For example, it is a street, enter state, for example, enter zip code, enter. And then I'm going to close this and click yes. I'm not going to call it agents. I'm going to call it I am going to call this table. Okay, I click OK for now, and then let me click yes. It is asking me what I want to call this table one. I'm going to call it suppliers, and I click OK, and then I go again back to my database, and now I have three tables here: suppliers, agents, and America's Most Wanted. And I have two tables and two queries and two agents and one report. The report is for America's Most Wanted. I can get a report for my agents. All I have to do is to click on agents, and then I want you to know something. Imagine I am on America's Most Wanted. When I am on America's Most Wanted and I go to, here you go, let me open my, open my query about American Most Wanted. While I opened it, I can be in this view, which is called datasheet view, or I can be on design view. And you know why we go to design view. Now I remove the condition. For the forms also, I can click here. This is called form view. I can go to my design view, and here is design view. And on the reports also, if I click here, it is on form on report view. I can go to my design view. Why do I go to my design view? I can change things. Do you see here, suppose state? You know that the state is only two words, WV. I can, on my design view, I can make, here, of course, it's written age. I'm sorry. Here is a state. Why do I need such a huge box for a state? I can, on design view, I am going to see if I can make it smaller. Here you go. Therefore, now you understand why we come to design view. Imagine on my design view, I want to put a picture on my design view to make the director of the FBI happy. That way my report looks very professional. And here is the picture, for example. This is the picture of the White House. Maybe I can put the picture of the college, for example. But anyhow, I can go to my design view and put a picture there, copy and paste it here as I did in my previous one. I'm going to click here and click yes and yes. And here it is. When I went to my design view, this is the first database that I had. And I am going to open it. When I went to my report, I put the logo of the college here because I went to view and I went to design view and I copied the picture and clicked here and clicked paste here. Here I forgot to make my design view a state little smaller. Therefore, you understand the concept of why we are coming to the design view. Let me go back again to the first data, to the database Sayed FBI. And we never showed you the design view. We showed you the design view of queries. We showed you design view of forms, design view of reports. Let me show you the design view of the table. When I double click here and I click view and I click, do you see we are on datasheet view? Datasheet view exactly is like table, is like Excel. I go to my design view and find out what it is. The design view of this is telling me what is an ID. ID is auto number. Do you remember? I didn't put 2 or 3. Therefore, ID, because if you want each America's Most Wanted to have its own ID, usually you like the ID to be their social security number. For college, we want the ID of the student would be a student ID S00. Name of the person. Is the name of the person, is it, let's see which one of these. If I click here, the name of the person, which one of these should I choose? Do I choose long term? No, name is a short text, that's good. Is name a number? No. Large number. Is it a date? No. Currency. Therefore, short text is a good description. Excel recognize. Age of the person. Age of the person, Excel understood when, Access understood when I put in the age, it categorized it as number. One thing, it made a mistake. When I put male, if I click here and you little bit think about what I am going to choose here. Should I choose text, long number, or yes or no possibly is the best option. Is the person male or no? I click yes or no. And after I do that, I am going to double click on America's Most Wanted. It says, do you want changes? I click yes, and I click yes. And guess what? As soon as I changed it to yes or no, it put this box and put a check mark for me. How nice it is, because now if I put another person like Obama here, I can put a check mark. Therefore, that's always good to go back on the tables and find out and try to consider what can we do, what should we categorize each thing. For example, in my agents, I could go and put it on their in their thing and say the salary is a currency. Now Excel thinks it's a number. Therefore, when I am here, I go to my design view of my table, and then what happens when it says salary, rather than calling it a number, I am going to call it a currency. That way it might put hopefully a dollar sign or something in front of it. And then I will go back, and then I'll double click on agents, and I click yes. And look here, as soon as I declared it this, currency, it put the dollar sign for me. Therefore, tables have their own views, queries have their own views, and you know why we go to queries for the views. Agents have their own views, forms have their own views, and reports have their views. Therefore, that is main concept of the database. And then I want to show you one more thing, and here we have agents. So far, we have three tables here: one agents, one America's Most Wanted, one supplier. We created all of these in here. Now, let's think about another thing. And I click Save in here, and I'm going to close this. And here is the table that I have. Imagine that IRS has its own table in here. Now, these are the people who didn't pay their taxes. And let's look at we have here another table, which is called another database, which is called IRS. And I'm going to double click here. And on this IRS, there is a table. They are tax violators. Let's see who they are. That is Ashley, Cindy, and Paula. These three people didn't pay their taxes, and we have their names, we have their age, we have their estate, and they are not males. But the problem is that they are in a different database. Is there any way that I can copy this database to this database? I could go here and create a new table and put IRS violators in here by clicking create, and but my goal is that without retyping this, can I bring that IRS and put it in here? Therefore, that is my goal. And maybe in order to bring those violators and put them in here as a new violators, I go and click external data, because it is in another database and it is not here. Therefore, bring it as a, and it is a new source I have. And it is from a database that I want it from an access. Come to this access. Do you see it has been typed in access? And I want to that access, which is called IRS. Let me go in here, which is here, IRS. And I want this to come to this table, table, which is FBI. And it is asking me, do you want it? Do you want to bring it in America's? No, that's not that is not table. I don't want it to go to America's Most Wanted. I want it to come as a new table. These are the people who didn't pay their taxes, and I click OK. And I want to save import steps. Save import steps, and I click Save Import, and look, the table one came here. I have agents, I have America's Most Wanted, I have the suppliers. I have one table here. If I click here, these are the people who didn't pay their taxes. We brought them to the IRS, to the FBI, to go after them because they didn't pay their taxes. Therefore, very nicely, they ended up in here. And I'm going to see if I can change it to, violators. These are the tax violators. I'm going to close this. And therefore it's timing out. It's I have a few seconds. I'm going to right click and call it rename and tax violators, and that is our